So welcome back. In the previous program, we learned about how to run the program, what are different instructions used in that program, what are variables, what are instructions, how to use the print instruction, how to use the input instructions. And during that discussion, we learned about something called variables, or also called memory cells. Right? So in this video, we'll talk about rules that apply to memory cells. So we will revisit that program. We'll talk about some of the rules that are applied to variables or memory cells. So why are they called variables? First of all, variables means the values inside these memory cells can keep changing during the course of the program. That's why they are called variables. And I've been using the term memory cells, but the technical term is variables. And there are basically two types of variables we're going to start off with in Python. One is text variable. Other one is a numeric variable. We saw examples of numeric variable or numeric memory cells. And when it comes to rules about variables, the variables name must start with an alphabet, can contain numbers or special characters. Again, I'm going to take you back into that program and show you some more examples of variable rules. And then the variable name must not contain space. I'll show you that example of where it contains space and how it triggers an error. So I'm back in the Visual Studio, and here we're looking at the program that we just discussed in the previous video. So here there are different variables, right? So this one here is a variable. So a variable of the type text. That means it contains a text data. And these are the variables that contains numeric data because we converted that into an integer. So it's a numeric data. So this video is about talking about the rules of variables, right? So what are some of the rules? A variable cannot contain space. Let's say if I put a space here, this is no longer a variable. It's complaining right there, right? So if I try to run it, I'll see syntax error, invalid syntax. That's all it tells you. It doesn't tell you that, hey, you shouldn't be putting a space in the name of the variable. So number one, no space in the variable name. And number two, a variable name cannot start with a number. It cannot start with a number like this. It can end with a number like this, but it cannot start with a number like that. So if you try to run it, it complains that, again, invalid decimal level. So it should not start with number. So here, I'm going to put that at the end. So you can put this number in the middle if you want. Let's say 3, something like that. You can put it in the middle, but it should never be the first character in the name of a variable. So those are the two rules about variables that you should remember. So in the next video, we will talk about how to debug programming. Debugging a program is one of the most important skills that you must know in order to master the skills of programming. Debugging means basically what do? You run the code one line at a time. As the computer runs the program, it lets you see what is going on inside your program. It lets you see the contents of different memory cells, different variables, by running one line at a time. So you step through the program one line at a time. It's a very, very powerful tool that assists you in identifying bugs in your program, why something doesn't work, right? That's the most powerful tool. A lot of students do not give enough emphasis in learning about how to debug or how to use a debugger. So I strongly recommend you watch that video and you practice how to do debugging. So that's coming up in the next video. And then thank you. We'll see you in the next video.